Right now, a tropical low is spinning in the Coral Sea, a monster rain event is barreling towards southeast Queensland, and the remnants of ex-tropical cyclone Mitchell just slammed Western Australia with 100km/h wind gusts. If you live anywhere in Australia, the next 7 days could change everything for your region. And here is the part most people will miss. The worst day is not Friday, it is Saturday. I will explain exactly why in a moment, and trust me, that detail alone could save you from a flash flooding nightmare. But first, let me ask you this. When was the last time Brisbane saw triple-figure rainfall in a single weekend? Because that is exactly what the forecast models are now locked onto. 100mm or more between Friday and Monday. And Brisbane is not even the hardest hit area. The Gold Coast, Lismore and the border ranges could see double that. We are talking 200mm in some locations. Let that sink in for a second. Now drop a comment below telling me where you are watching from. Your city, your town, your region. I read every single comment and I will reply with a specific forecast breakdown for your area. Seriously, do it right now. Scroll down, type your location, and I will get back to you. Here is your roadmap for this update. I am covering Queensland first because that is where the action is most intense. Then I will walk you through what is happening with the Coral Sea tropical low and why it matters more than you think. After that, I will cover New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Tasmania and Western Australia. And stick around until the 5-minute mark because that is where I reveal which Australian city could be staring down 40-degree heat before the end of February. That forecast caught me off guard and it will surprise you too. Let us get straight into it. Southeast Queensland is about to end its dry spell in dramatic fashion. For weeks, conditions have been almost drought-like through the region. Water tanks are low, gardens are suffering. But starting Friday morning, the tap is turning on and it is not turning off until Monday. Here is the precise timing you need to know. Tuesday today, a few scattered showers are drifting through the southeast Queensland area this morning. Minor accumulations, 5 to 10mm around the Toowoomba area and onto the Darling Downs. Brisbane, you are barely seeing a drop from this. Do not get excited yet. This is just the appetizer. Wednesday is quiet. Almost nothing to report for southeast Queensland. A couple of isolated thunderstorms through central Queensland, but the coast stays dry and calm. Thursday is when things start to shift. A surface trough develops inland and we are expecting significant thunderstorm potential out in southwestern Queensland. Longreach, Charleville, Cunnamulla, Quilpie, Addervale, all of these locations are looking at substantial thunderstorm development through Thursday afternoon and evening. But here is the twist. Southeast Queensland stays dry on Thursday. The southeasterly change that everyone was watching has been delayed. It was originally expected Thursday evening. Now it is pushing through into Friday morning. That delay changes everything. And Friday morning is when the rain begins for southeast Queensland. And once it starts, it does not stop. Showers increase gradually through the morning, then ramp up significantly into the afternoon and evening hours. Locally, heavy falls are expected, particularly in elevated areas like the Scenic Rim and the border ranges. The flash flooding risk starts here. Now pay close attention because this next part is the most critical piece of this entire forecast. Saturday is the day to watch. This is when I expect the heaviest rainfall accumulations for southeast Queensland, and here is why. A low-pressure system is expected to deepen near the Moree area through Friday night, and that system combined with a surface trough extending from the interior will create something called convergence zone activity. Picture this. You have got northeasterly winds coming in from one direction and southeasterly winds pushing from another. Where those two air masses collide, the air is forced upward. That triggers intense, slow-moving bands of rain. These convergence zones are notorious. They park themselves over one area and just dump water. We are talking significant rainfall accumulations in very localised spots. That is your flash flooding trigger right there. So if you are in southeast Queensland, Saturday is the day you need to have your emergency plan ready. Know your flood zones, keep your phone charged, monitor the Bureau of Meteorology warnings. Sunday continues with showers and thunderstorms as the low pressure system maintains its grip on the region. And then Monday, finally, conditions begin to ease. Now let me give you the rainfall total so you know exactly what to prepare for. Gold Coast, 100 to 200mm between Friday and Monday. Murwillumbah, same range. Lismore and Ballina Bay, 100 to 200mm. Brisbane, at least 100mm over the weekend and into early Monday, triple-figure rainfall. That is the kind of drink the region desperately needs, but it is coming fast, so be prepared. The Sunshine Coast gets less. The multi-model guidance and ensemble forecasts are not putting the heaviest falls up there. You will still see rain, but nowhere near the totals hitting the Gold Coast and Brisbane. Inland areas are not missing out either. Toowoomba, the Darling Downs, the Warrego region, Roma, Chinchilla, Jandawai, Rolleston and Emerald are all looking at a solid drop throughout the weekend. These locations, traditionally much drier at this time of year, are finally going to see some meaningful rain. Now, here is something important to understand. This is not going to fill the tanks completely. It is not going to break the near drought conditions in one hit. But it is a fantastic start, and it is part of a wider 2 to 3 week wet period that Queensland is now entering. There is likely to be follow-up rainfall behind this system as well. Very good news indeed. Do not miss the next section because the Coral Sea tropical low is doing something unexpected. Out in the Coral Sea, a tropical low pressure system has developed, and on the satellite imagery, this thing actually looks impressive. It looks like it is trying to organise itself into something more significant. But here is the plot twist. Despite its appearance, this system only has a 10% chance of becoming a tropical cyclone. And honestly, even that feels generous. Why? Wind shear. Wind shear is the enemy of tropical cyclone development. It tears apart the storm structure and prevents the circulation from tightening. And wind shear is forecast to increase around this system through Wednesday and Thursday, which will likely prevent it from strengthening. But do not write this system off just yet. Even as a weak tropical low, it is expected to drift toward the Queensland coastline on a southwesterly track, potentially approaching the Townsville region by this weekend. Several ensemble models are showing this track with increasing confidence. If that happens, and it is looking quite possible, we could see 250 to 350 millimetres of rainfall in areas around the Central Coast, the Whitsundays, and up toward Townsville and potentially the Capricorn Coast. The southern side of the system is expected to be the wettest. The timing for this rainfall is Thursday and Friday onward, with the wettest days likely being Saturday and Sunday. Showers should ease by early Monday for the central Queensland coast, and Whitsundays, here is your specific timing. Showers begin building from Thursday, increasing through Friday. The heaviest falls land Saturday and Sunday. Expect things to ease off by early Monday. If you are in Townsville, keep a close eye on updates because if this system tracks just slightly further south than current models suggest, your rainfall totals jump significantly. Now, here is why this matters so much. Northern Queensland has already been absolutely hammered with rain this season. Flooding has been a persistent problem. I have been monitoring a flood camera at Jenny Line Creek for the past month, and while the water levels have dropped significantly in the last 2 weeks, there is still a massive expanse of water out there. Any additional rain, even from a weak system like this, is going to make things worse, and there is more. Forecast models are suggesting another tropical low could develop in the Gulf of Carpentaria around the 20th of February. If that happens, northern Queensland is in for another round. This is a situation that needs close monitoring. Let me shift to the rest of Australia now. New South Wales this afternoon, there is potential for a couple of pulse thunderstorms in the northeast, particularly north of Grafton around the Lismore area. Nothing severe, instability is low, and wind shear is not favourable for organised storms. These could push over the border ranges into the scenic rim and potentially into the Gold Coast hinterland, but I really do not see them reaching Brisbane, Ipswich or Logan. Thursday is a different story. A cold front sweeping through could spark an area of severe thunderstorm development north of Sydney and Newcastle, out toward Muswell Brook and north toward Tamworth. This is an area I will be watching closely, but I am not expecting anything too extreme. Victoria and South Australia, calm and collected is the theme. A ridging pattern is dominating southern Australia right now. A weak ridge over the Tasman Sea will allow a cold front through tomorrow heading into Tasmania and Victoria, but after that a much stronger and broader ridge builds into the Great Australian Bight later in the week. That keeps things settled. Here is a bonus for the southerners. With these southerly winds pushing through Victoria and South Australia, temperatures are actually going to be quite pleasant, high 20s, low 30s. Compare that to the brutal heat wave from about 2 weeks ago, and you will appreciate this setup. Enjoy it while it lasts. Later next week, that ridge weakens again, allowing another cold front to push through. So the calm conditions are temporary. Enjoy them while they last and keep an eye on updates heading into the following week. Tasmania, that cold front moving through tomorrow will bring some showers, but nothing dramatic. Standard February fair. Now, Western Australia, this is where things get interesting. Ex-tropical cyclone Mitchell made its presence felt last night. The system skimmed past Carnarvon with wind gusts reaching 100 kilometres per hour. That is a pretty solid blow for the area, though Carnarvon has seen stronger in the past. What is remarkable is that a tropical cyclone made it that far south along the Western Australian coast. That only happens about once every 5 years. The last system to do it was Tropical Cyclone Seroja, which hit Kalbarri back in 2021. Hard to believe that was almost 5 years ago. Geraldton picked up some good falls overnight. The northern wheatbelt also saw decent rainfall, 30 to 60 millimetres, with more still falling. Moderate falls are pushing into the goldfields between Southern Cross and Kalgoorlie. Here is the big question for Perth residents. Did you get your rain? The answer is barely. 1 to 5 millimetres fell across the Perth metro area last night. That is nowhere near what the forecast models were hyping it up to be. And looking at the latest data, it does not look like Perth is going to see much more from this system. The rainfall is diminishing and tracking well east of the city. But the wheatbelt is a different story. Kellerberrin, Doodlakine, Coolgardie, Merredin, Southern Cross, all looking at 60 to 100 millimetres. A few spots could exceed triple figures. Kalgoorlie is looking at about 25 millimetres. The Western Goldfields could see 20 to 50 millimetres. And Norseman, Salmon Gums and Esperance might actually hit 100 millimetres. Here is something I have noticed from experience. These eastern and southeastern areas of Western Australia often pick up substantially more rainfall than the forecast models predict. So if you are in the Esperance region, monitor conditions closely for flash flooding and riverine flooding throughout today. Now remember at the beginning I told you to stick around for a surprise about extreme heat. Here it is. Long-range modelling is suggesting that a tropical low is likely to emerge offshore from the northern Kimberley coastline around the 20th of February. That system could become the next tropical cyclone in the Australian region. But here is the twist most people will not see coming. The development of that system will translate to a massive heat pump directed at southwestern Western Australia. We are talking another run of 40-degree days toward the end of February. If you are in Perth or anywhere in the southwest, start planning your beach trips now. That heat is coming. So to recap the critical points, Southeast Queensland, rain begins Friday morning, peaks Saturday with dangerous convergence zone activity eases Monday. Rainfall totals of 100 to 200 millimetres along the coast. Coral Sea tropical low tracking toward Townsville area this weekend, bringing 250 to 350 millimetres to the central coast and Whitsundays. Northern Queensland still dealing with persistent flooding, more rain on the way, and potentially another tropical low in the Gulf around the 20th. Western Australia S Wheatbelt and Goldfields are in for significant rain from ex-cyclone Mitchell S remnants. Perth, you missed out, and watch for 40-degree heat in late February. Now, I need your help. Drop a comment right now with your location. Tell me your city or town, and I will give you a targeted forecast update. The more specific you are, the better I can help. I read every single one. And if you found this update helpful, share it with someone in your area who needs to hear this. The more people prepared, the better we all ride this out together. And here is what is coming in tomorrow's update, that potential severe thunderstorm setup for the Hunter Valley and northern New South Wales on Thursday. I am going to break that down in full detail with storm timing, severity estimates, and which towns are most at risk. Plus, the Coral Sea tropical low will have new model data by then, and if its track shifts even slightly, the rainfall outlook for central Queensland changes dramatically. I will also have updated rainfall accumulation maps for southeast Queensland as we get closer to the main event on Friday and Saturday. The models will have sharpened up considerably by then. You do not want to miss that. I will see you